please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Good morning. You're watching Trading Hour on CNBC TV18. I'm Ekta Batra. With me is Surbhi Upadhyay, and there's no prizes for guessing. The verdict is on your screen. We have the Nifty, which is back at 10,900. We have the Bank Nifty, which is soaring up 1.5%, and the rupee and the bond markets, which have recovered from the day's low. Hi, Surbhi.
Hi, good morning, Ekta. Yes, absolutely. It's been quite an emphatic verdict, one that I guess even the most aggressive bulls were not entirely pricing in. Well, we've got a lot of ground to cover over the next 1 hour. The issue before the market is that, yes, it's a great rally to kickstart the day off, but is it a real breakout? Is this going to be something that the bulls can build on, or is this a bit of a sell-on-rise rally? And that's the question that's really top of mind for most of the technical analysts out there as well. The only caveat here is that some of the macro concerns are still lingering, whether it was the higher inflation print that we got yesterday, or the fact that crude prices have been around $78 a barrel on Brent. So those are some of the peripheral lingering worries, but you can't entirely ignore them out. Having said that, of course, some of the earnings that we got over the last 24 hours have been rather fantastic. So let's see which way this breaks out. Right now, it is all green on the screen. Let's kickstart the show then with some technical advice. We've got Sudarshan Sukhani joining in as always. Sudarshan, so now the event is out of the way and the event has gone, at least right now, in favor of the bulls. How would you look at the Nifty and the Nifty Bank and this big rally now?
Yeah, good morning again. Well, in the morning, we had said we want to be buyers in this market. That view continues. The Nifty is 100 points, 120 points up from the early morning days, hours, but that doesn't matter. If you want to take the trade in the index, even now it is possible. Buy the Nifty, buy 10,800 calls or 10,900 calls if you were a little and just stay long in the Nifty. It is quite possible that we may go and make lifetime new highs in the indices, both in the Nifty and in the Nifty Bank. The Nifty Bank has been outperforming, and that outperformance should continue. So the view is that the trend is up. Even at current levels, we can see gains in the indices, so be long in both of them.
Okay, well, Sudarshan, hi, morning. A lot of stocks which are at fresh 52-week highs, the likes of HUL and a lot of other consumption stories as well. In this market, what would you suggest on these particular stocks? Yeah,
good morning. I would suggest go and buy them. That's the easiest thing to do and the most profitable. HUL is an investment buy. I don't know about today, but for even Dabur was a buy in the morning. That continues. We have a list of buying ideas for this show, starting with Pidilite, again from the same group of consumer durables. So all of it, Britannia, HUL, Dabur and Pidilite, which I am now talking about, are buying opportunities for short-term traders, for investors, for both. So let me complete my list. I have Pidilite as a buy today. Kotak Bank is a favorite for me, has been for some time. It's going to outperform all the private sector banks, I think. So Kotak is a buy. And finally, KPIT is a buy in the mid-cap segment. Mid-caps, we have talked about NIT Tech in the morning, and then also Tech Mahindra, Infosys among the large caps. But that entire sector is roaring to go up after a 4-day consolidation. So that's KPIT for buying. So 3 buying ideas in the Pidilite, Kotak Bank and KPIT. And generally, a suggestion, please do not go short.
All right, fair point. I'm going to remember that one, Sudarshan. Just one more word while we were talking consumption stocks. Do you think Titan has completed its recent correction and its recent underperformance? What would the call there be?
No, I stay away from Titan. The product is, the company is slightly different from the ones we talked about, Lever, Dabur, Pidilite, or so Britannia. So I would stay away from Titan. Titan has probably got more corrections in its way.
Okay, fair enough. And Sudarshan, before we let you go, wanted your thoughts in terms of the follow-on selling that we're seeing in a couple of these stocks. Reliance Naval and Engineering down around 2.5% today. What would you recommend to any retail investor with positions in that? And even something like a PNB, which is coming out with numbers today. I'm sure there'll be a lot of volatility on account of that.
No. If you own any PSU bank except for State Bank, let's not consider that as a PSU bank. If you own any PSU bank, you must get out. What's the big idea of staying in these banks when the whole market is going up and these banks are going down? And ahead of numbers, if you still own PNB as an investment, as a trading idea, exit ahead of numbers.
Okay, all right, Sudarshan, thank you very much for that, for all the trading ideas. Lots of stocks on the move in the broader market as well, by the way. A couple of the wind companies are doing well. Inox Wind is now at the day's high, 6.5% up. Suzlon is holding on to pretty smart gains as well. So pretty interesting. Some of the renewable power names, specifically in the wind space. These are some of the stocks that are flying around now. That's Suzlon. Inox Wind is the one that is at the day's high with a gain of almost 6%. On the equity markets are cheering the Karnataka verdict. Let's not forget that commodity prices are still keeping us on the edge. And to get a roundup of everything that's happening out there, we've got Manisha joining in as always. Good morning, Manisha. $78 to the barrel now.
This perhaps could be a dampener really coming in for you, while of course it's the Karnataka election supporting the equity markets, but crude oil prices clearly not being a part of that. $78 and plus, and we have seen very strong gains come in for the Indian diesel and petrol prices after they being frozen for 19 days plus. So it's a second straight day of gains coming in, with diesel prices now at record highs and petrol prices yet again at those 56-month highs there. So that is something to keep an eye on. And the point is that from here on as well, the expectations are that you are going to see crude oil prices gain further from here. There has been an OPEC monthly report which has been released overnight, which says that the international global glut is being eliminated when it comes to the crude inventories, and the outlook for prices has been revised on the higher side. So this year and the next year as well, there's an expectation that you might see the crude oil prices gaining further from where we stand right now. And it's not just OPEC actually. IEA, EIA, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs, Barclays, all of them think that the crude oil prices from here on will see further gains. The point is that the US output is something that of course has been a bearish cue, but even at the current high prices, almost at 78 plus, there is limited capacity that the US might be seeing on the higher side. And then of course there are those supply concerns coming in from Iran, sanctions on Russia, Venezuela, Angola, Nigeria. All of these OPEC members have internal violence happening and the supply concerns as well. So that is something that will continue to add premium to prices. So expectation really is that we might be looking at $80 per barrel kind of levels in this year, and you have projections of 90 to 95 coming in for the next year for the crude oil prices now. Ranisha Chenani now joins us to talk more about that space. Ranisha, what is your sense? Where do you see the crude oil prices headed?
Hi Manisha, good morning. Yes, I see crude oil prices are continuously heading higher, and as yesterday's OPEC report suggested that there is continuously good demand coming in from China and other Asian countries. I think this has again supported the prices, and prices would continue its upward trends towards $75. So still I would recommend to buy crude. I'm expecting 4,900 to 5,000 levels on positional basis. Even for intraday, 40 to 50 rupees of upside can be seen.
Ranisha, how are you also looking at the natural gas prices? Because world around we've seen the crude and the products continue to gain up. Are you looking at natural gas prices to follow that suit?
Yes, natural gas prices are expected to trade in the range of 180 to 200 rupees, I think, for a few days. We are seeing good summer demand, and overall the range bound trading would continue as of now. Nothing great expected. So I would recommend around 180 levels could be used as a buying opportunity, and 200 levels as a selling opportunity.
Before we let you go, Ranisha, one word on the metal space, where we have seen some profit taking coming in today, and this is after very strong gains that we saw yesterday. Is this a buying opportunity? What would you want to follow in the international markets?
Talking about metal space, we are seeing all metals following their own fundamentals. So basically, we are seeing nickel, aluminium, and lead are rising as their stock prices are continuously falling. I would recommend to buy lead as of now because it has given a range breakout after 2 months. It was trading in the range of 150 to 159 from last 2 months, and finally prices have closed above 160 level. So I would recommend to buy lead around 160 for the target of 162. And overall base metal bag is still looking as of now, trading in the range, as yesterday's China's data of investment demand and retail sales, industrial production, all were mixed up. So base metal would trade in a mixed section, and nothing great buying or selling coming in. Only pick would be lead as of now.
Thanks very much for joining in and bringing us all of those updates on the commodity space. We have the Nifty, which is holding at 10,900, and a lot of stocks which are surging now. BEML, for example, is at the high point of the day, down around 9.5%, up around 9.5%. And we have Dr. Lal Path Labs, which is reacting to its numbers, that stock at the high point of the day as well. But staying with the pharmaceutical space, the race to buy Fortis Healthcare is now far from over. 2 days after the Fortis board chose the Munjal Burmans as a preferred buyer, we saw last evening that the Manipal TPG consortium has presented a revised offer. Joining us on the phone line is Ranjan Pai, the MD and CEO of Manipal, to talk about this offer. Mr. Pai, thank you very much for joining in. So what led you to offer a revised bid just 2 days after the board's decision?
Good morning, Ekta. Well, I guess when we had put the initial bid at 160, we felt we had a comprehensive bid compared to the two offers that were on the table. And we were very disappointed when the board only looked at the price and not looked at all the other benefits that the Manipal TPG combined would provide Fortis. So hence, and once we heard about the negative sentiments from the investors regarding the Munjal offer, we felt we didn't want to waste time, wait for the EGM to be completed, and if their offer was shot down, then we would have wasted another month to put up our offer. So we felt we should put in a better offer, and hence we moved in within 3 days.
So, Dr. Pai, this is Nisha Podar here joining in from the studio as well. Now, wanted to know, have you got any communication from the board of Fortis Healthcare or the company whether or not your bid can be accepted at this point? And I would also like to ask you, why couldn't you utilize your right to match period of 5 days to really up your bid?
So we haven't heard anything back from the Fortis board yet. Regarding the right to match, Nisha, again, I come back. When we had the three offers on the table, we had one offer, IHH at 175, but it was only partially binding. We had the Munjal offer, which was only putting in 1,000 crores up front, and at a price which was at 167, but I had no experience in running the hospitals. And we felt, since there was an expert advisory committee, we were comfortable that they will look into all aspects and not just the headline price. And hence we felt that I still say that 160 rupee compelling offer that we had put in was, among the three offers on the table at that day, was still the best offer for the shareholders of Fortis.
Okay. Mr. Pai, who are these investors that you have communicated with who have expressed their discomfort or their unhappiness with the Munjal Burman deal?
No, I have not spoken directly to any of the investors yet.
Okay.
I think we've heard the media news that the investors were unhappy. A few of them, through some common friends, have also expressed the same. So we first felt we should give it one shot. Okay.
So the EGM, so the shareholders could have the option of calling for an EGM where your offer could probably be taken up. Are you hoping for that to come through? If in case the board does come back and say, you know, the day for the last day was decided and we've decided on the final bids and that door is closed?
Well, we hope the board will not will consider our offer since it's a lot more superior and the EGM notice has still not gone out. This is also similar to when we initially put in the bid, March 27th. And people, shareholders were unhappy and they opened up the bid for other people to come in and put in a bid. So what difference is that from this? So we feel that the board should consider our offer very seriously and put it up to the shareholders to vote.
So this is not getting over anytime soon, Dr. Pai. We also gathered that IHH, the Malaysian company, which has also been interested in Fortis Healthcare, may also look to make an effort to up or revise its bid or even make an open offer. At least that rumor has been doing the rounds as well. How far are you ready to go in terms of revising your bid upwards if IHH comes up with a superior offer than what you have presented at 180 rupees per share?
Let the offer come and let's see what is out there, and then we will react.
Okay. Just one quick last question then, Mr. Pai, because you have mentioned that, you know, your deal is synergistic in nature, and this is the first time that you've mentioned an EBITDA valuation. 200 crores is what you expect in terms of a possible EBITDA addition eventually. Can you give us a sense in terms of how exactly you came to this calculation?
Yeah, this is from what we have seen in terms of material costs, in terms of pharmaceutical costs, in terms of some of the other benefits we see. We're putting both the hospitals together, and that's where we see the benefits. And we've done some work on it, and there are some more aspects of that which I don't want to share right now.
Okay. And just one quick question which I just thought of. You know, there's been so much of an uproar with regards to the Fortis board as well as the SRL board. Have you gained any sort of idea in terms of what the investor thoughts are on that? We know about Eastbridge and Jupiter, but what about the rest of the minority shareholders?
Well, I think from whatever I've gathered, I think the minority shareholders are very unhappy with the original board, and hence they've made a call for the EGM for the removal of the board. But I've not heard anything more in specific.
Have you managed to speak to Yes Bank at least, Dr. Pai? Because that's a lender to you as well that has had deep connections with Fortis and holds 15% stake in the company and is going to also take a big decision when it comes to any decision either regarding the board or your offer being accepted.
Well, we are in touch with Yes Bank and we have told them our position. I guess Yes Bank, being a lender, they have to go with whatever is right from their banking perspective. They are not here to take sides, and which we respect their view.
Okay. All right, Mr. Pai, we're going to leave it on that note. Thanks very much for joining in and talking to us. So that is Manipal, Dr. Ranjan Pai of Manipal TPG, saying that this is the offer which they have put in front, but they have heard about how the investors are unhappy with the Munjal Berman deal. Anything more on the markets, sir?
On the markets, it's a bit of a dip, Ekta. While we've been in this interview, we can't ignore this. Now, this is what a lot of the sort of, intraday traders were talking about, whether we will see some selling given the levels where we are at. Check out ITC. Let's pull up the intraday there. So that stock's at the day's low. There's some kind of profit booking that's creeping in on a couple of these stocks. And tech is definitely a watch point. So Infosys and Tech Mahindra, these are some of the other stocks where you're seeing a little bit of a cooling. Reliance is still holding, but again, just slightly off the highs of the day. Nothing to worry about just yet, but we are trading below 10,900 for the time being. So a slight cool off coming in.